Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to do my full review on the Civivi knives Cogent butt lock. So an interesting one here. Excuse me, not the spec I wanted specifically. They don't really have a spec I would want, but I had to check this bad boy out, being it was their first button lock with an actual deployment, and you can already see part of a issue I will point out later. But anyway, the Cogent, real quick, I have a couple packages I just want to slice into. This one I think is just a cord I ordered. Yep, just a USB-C cord I ordered. And this one could be pretty cool. This is from, I tried to find the liner lock. This is from Joseph Vero Engineering. I got some candy, I got some cool stackas, and I have a fulcrum. Look at that. It says lefty blue. No, it's not a left-handed fulcrum. So I had a fulcrum made with my channel logo on it. And so that was my plan, right? Oh man, that looks pretty sweet. Look at that. Just onto the edge too. That looks pretty dang snazzy right there. Look at that. Lefty EDC. It's pretty cool how it even gets some of the color in. So Joseph recently bought a laser thing for, I guess, titanium or whatever. It's not an engraver, I don't think, because it doesn't engrave. It's not like, you know, it's on top, I suppose. Man, this blue wash is absolutely gorgeous. I actually did not put my fulcrum in pocket today because I wanted to obviously carry this one. So I'm going to get the T8 out, and then I will swap out the flathead. So I like to carry the Phillips and the T8 because most pivots I have are T8. And I don't need a flathead because I can kind of use the pry tip as a flathead if needed. I got other things I can use as a flathead. But then I have the Phillips and a T8 in case I need a pivot, or a lot of my knives, the clips are T8. So anyway, I'm going to put this cloth back in. Bang. Put that there. But yeah, this looks awesome. I mean, just a cool little thing to have on your pry bar, right? I mean, it's got your logo and shit. Looks dope. So I talked to Joseph about it. He said he got this laser engraver because I reached out and I said, hey man, I was thinking about getting another fulcrum. Do you have any blue ones? I didn't realize he just had them on the website. But he said, I might be able to throw your logo on there. I'm messing with the laser right now, right? So like the timing just worked out that he was messing with it at the time. I don't think he's doing this like for everybody right now. But he was testing it when I reached out. And then we had this great idea. Kyle, D2M Knives and Gear, Jake, Bearded Gear, and myself, we're trying to get a gift for our buddy Chris, Grady's Gear, for his daughter being born, who was born today. Hey, today is the 21st. She was born at, I think it was like 10 a.m. or something today. And everything's good. Mom, baby are healthy. Very happy. Skylar Grady, baby. Skylar Ray Grady. So, yeah, that's really cool and exciting. And we got him a fulcrum that has his logo, Grady's Gear, and then it says Skylar down the side. Which, you know, just unique and something for him to commemorate the birth of his daughter, which is an immense occasion. I know, because I have one, and I love that kid to death. So, anyway, awesome fulcrum. Big shout out to Joseph Vero for doing this for us. That was very kind of him to do. And, yeah, just really glad I got it in. And now I have 2 fulcrums. We'll see what I do with the other one. You know me, guys. I get 2 of something. I get a little antsy. I start giving it away or selling it. But anyway, let's talk about this I almost said POS, but it's not a POS. It's okay. I like it. I like it for the budget range. Let's just talk aesthetics. I think it's okay. I think this specific one with this black Damascus is trash, okay? I don't know why anybody thinks that stuff looks good. Whenever it's on a budget knife, it looks cheap. It's just, I mean, you can't do budget Damascus or Damasteel. It just isn't gonna look good. You know what I mean? I know some people probably like Civivi shit, but you know, like Civivi does that gold flaked resin shit that's supposed to look like carbon fiber and copper shreds. It doesn't. It looks like plastic. Trash. So anyway, to me, this just makes it gas station-y, but I wanted my Carta handles, and the only other option is G10, and I fucking hate G10. I just don't like G10. If my options are something and G10, something. Like, I just don't like G10. I mean, almost as much as I hate FRN, which, depending on the knife, if it's that cheap, FRN makes sense. But, like, G10 just, I don't know, it never makes sense to me. But, whatever. So I got this one because of the micarta, and I had to stick with this blade. And I didn't think I'd be keeping it long term, so I didn't really care all that much. I believe this is $97 in this configuration. Pretty sure it's like 60 or 70 in the just like black G10 and black blade. That's a gripe I have. They don't have any satin or stonewash blades on these. They're all just black or this shit. And then it's just different kinds of G10 or this micarta, which is their dark green micarta, which is the best micarta you can get from Civivi. This is what I had the riffle in. If you get the olive or the natural micarta, I'm telling you, it's basically G10. It's way too stiff. It doesn't have any like feel to it. This doesn't even feel that great, but it's better, trust me. So anyway, aesthetically, it's okay. You know, I like the blade shape. I hate this area right here. It just screams tactical to me, this little humpy dump right here. The handle, you know, it's okay. These three lines are kind of corny. It is what it is. It's a knife, and it's a budget knife, and, you know, it's got the deep carry budget clip on it. Whatever, right? It doesn't sit flush, which sucks, but this one, I have not had any problems with it going in pocket, so that's good. Sorry, ergos, man, they suck. That's my biggest gripe with this knife. I could have gotten over almost everything else, but the ergos just do not work for my hand. I have a large glove size hand, and I don't know what it is. I just can't get a comfortable grip on this knife. It's just odd, you know? And I feel like this area right here has something to do with it because it takes up some room. You got, you know, you just have a swell. I mean, it's very neutral. I compared it to, sorry, I got an itch. I compared it to the Malibu, and it's eerily similar in the handle shape. Yet the Boo, even though smaller in handle, fits my hand like a freaking glove. I just pick it up. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm at home, right? I just don't feel that with this knife. Now, one thing you could point to is this has a reversible clip. Malibu doesn't. So lefty, I'm going to feel that clip. Whereas, you know, with the Malibu, the clip's on the other side, so it's more like holding it like this, which is better, but still not great. It just feels, for a 3.5-inch blade and almost 8 inches overall, it feels smaller than it is. And that's really the best way for me to put it. It's like I'm cramping this pinky on, and I think it has to do with this flipper, and this thing is just taking up a lot of my space. So I just don't like the ergos on this knife, and that's ultimately why I wouldn't keep it, or I wouldn't recommend it. Like, I'm not going to say I won't recommend it. I want to make that clear that I have ergonomic issues with this, but maybe somebody with a smaller hand won't mind. I don't know. Or maybe it's just me. I don't know. But that's ergos, guys. Carry is fine. It carries lefty or righty. I like that. That clip is not recessed, but the screws are, and it doesn't snag. It's not like the Kubis that sit like that. So they must have given you more clearance, or it's a little lower. I don't know, but much prefer this over the Kubi clips. And it's light enough for the size of the knife, 3.5 inches. It's got a lot of milling in there, steel liners, but it's micarta, so you got lightweight. Carry's good, guys. It doesn't, you know, twist or do anything weird in pocket. Flipper tab doesn't pokey doke. It's all good. I like the carry. Cutting. Guys, that's where this knife shines. That is the thing that this knife shines at. It just cuts, man. It's just an epic freaking cutter. I just absolutely love the cutting on this knife. Like, it just is excellent. It has a saber grind, I'd call it, but starts very high up, that flat grind. Comes all the way down to a nice thin edge. Now, this is that Damascus shit, so it's going to be made of 9CR, which I actually like 9CR 18 MOV, I think it is. Or is it 9CR 14? I don't know. Anyway, I like it. It's actually a good budget steal. Now, for $97, do I want 9CR? Hell no. But it's the Damascus, so I got to give them a little bit of leeway there. It's not just 9CR, but that's what the core is. That's what your edge retention and such is going to be like. So, whatever. Again, I hate this shit, but to each their own. That's a whole nother conversation. Now, the only thing I don't like is it's rough. Like, this finish on here is rough. So, it's like, I don't know how they do this. They coat it and somehow keep that color in. I don't know what they do. But it feels rough, and I feel like that could cause some issues going through materials. I don't know if I noticed that or not. I just feel like it could possibly cause issues, but I can't really say that it does. But I mean, this blade is just freaking excellent. Oh, I think I just cut a bunch of Vero stickers in half. But yeah, very thin edge. It's just excellent. It's a good freaking cutter. I'm not the expert on cutting. Y'all know that. But I'm telling you, this thing slices extremely well, cuts really well. Shipping labels, it was no problem. The tip is excellent. It's a little dainty, obviously. But, you know, it's I really like it for cutting. That's my biggest thing. And if the ergos were better, I would absolutely love this thing, because then I could hold it comfortably and get the cutting. But no, I only get the cutting. So, no, I mean, sounds excellent. Do you hear the ting when it comes out? So I gotta give this thing like a 7 in sounds. The problem is it also has the Kaiser rattle. So it kind of has a little bit of that rattle on the close that you get with Kaisers that I make fun of a lot. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And this kind of has that a little bit. Not enough to really bug me, but enough that I'm going to mention it, right? It's not quite as good as the Malibu, but it does have that extra ting that the Malibu doesn't. Action. Takes us to action. So on this knife, you have a flipper tab. That's right. They actually made a button lock you can open. The detent is not particularly dialed, yet if you try to flick it, it flicks. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's just me being me, right? Like, I'm just doing this to prove a point, but like, it really never fails. Like, I failed it a couple times, but that was because my finger like slipped off halfway through a flip or whatever. Now the Malibu, you can't fail. So I don't know. I think that has more to do with the flipper design and the smoothness of the pivot than it does with the detent, because this feels pretty good on detent. I mean, detent, it's a spring basically, but I'd say it's good. Definitely good on the deployment. They nailed that. The button, this is where we need to talk a little bit about fit and finish and that kind of thing. I've heard of a lot of people having button stick, and like a lot of button stick. So I was on a live stream last night with Knives Fast, and Big Red and Bees Blades were saying their Cogents, like, you could hear the click across the room when they went to disengage the knife. Now, I don't know if you can hear this. I mean, I can hear it. Can you hear it? I don't know. That is normal to me. The button on this feels great, honestly. I like to have a little bit of stick. I used to hate it when I first got the Malibus, but I kind of like it. It gives you a little tactile feel, like, okay, I'm unlocking my button lock, you know? It almost feels mushy when it doesn't have it. So, I don't know. It doesn't bother me at all the way this is. It seems to be sticking way more all of a sudden than it was when I started this review, which is really suspicious, but that's weird, right? Is that weird that it's sticking more now all of a sudden, or am I just paying attention? I don't know. Anyway, it hasn't bothered me ever on this. I have enjoyed flipping it, and the little bit of stick it has, or a lot of stick, or whatever it has, is fine. But a lot of people have had that issue, and possibly it's worse than what I have, and it, like, people are returning knives, getting replacement knives because of the stick. So it must be enough to bother them, right? So I want to mention that. Sorry, I heard a police siren. I was like, oh my God. Oh, there he is. Ambulance. Anyway, there's that. The closing action is my biggest gripe on the action. It doesn't always close. Like, again, comparison to the Malibu, you click the button and it drops shut like that every time. This, you know, it sometimes drops shut, sometimes it hangs in the middle. Of course, now it's going to do it every time. Yeah, it does that or whatever. You got to hold it down. It's not a huge deal. You'll get used to it. You'll kind of chuck it down, you know, but if you just push the button and expect it to drop all the way, it won't. You know what I mean? It's going to do that. So you got to either hold it down and wait or fling it a little bit. So, you know, it's not a huge deal. It's an adjustment. You'll get used to it. And then obviously I got used to it because now I can just fling it down. But there you go. If I just push it and let go, it won't close all the way. Up to you how you see that. Value, I think it's good. You know, 60, 70 bucks on this is excellent to get basically a budget Malibu. Sort of. Ergos aren't as good. Action isn't as good. Carry isn't as good. But cutting is better. So there's that. And you can carry it lefty if you're a lefty. So that's awesome. So yeah, I can recommend it as long as you're aware that the ergos may be a little weird for you. They are for me, that's all. But other than that, it's pretty cool. And obviously it seems to be there's some QC issues with the buttons. They'll sort that out over time because they'll learn. It's their first shot at it, guys. At least at having one that has a deployment method. Yeah, I'm gonna keep rubbing that in. Also, you can reverse flick this knife, extremely easy. You can also slow roll this knife out, extremely easy. You could probably thumb flick this knife. Oh. Okay, you can, but not easy. But slow roll works and reverse flick works great. That could be a reason why they did all coated blades. I don't know. Maybe because you can grip a coated blade a little better for a flip. I don't know. But anyway, that is the Civivi Cogent, guys. I really appreciate you tuning in for this. If you'd like to, subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. Big shout out to my Patreon patrons and my members in the membership groups. I know I don't do enough or shout you out enough, but you are loved. And I love you. I appreciate all your support. It really helps right now. I'm going to have to start buckling down a little bit because I got Devo knives stuff coming. And, you know, I want to be able to afford putting knives out there and getting ready for the pre-order. And we're trying to do a budget knife and just pay for it. So any support to the channel will help immensely with all of that, including the channel, obviously. So anyway, I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.